Hello, welcome to my channel and my videos. My goal in these videos is to provide you with information from my own experience that I think will be useful for you. I hope that my information will be really useful for you. I wish you peace with my love. Now let's go to our video and get started. Without forgetting, if you subscribe to my channel and like it, you will make me happy. You will also be informed about future videos. When we hear the word psychopath, the first thought that usually comes to our minds is in favor of men. Contrary to popular belief, society generally believes that psychopaths are male. On the contrary, callous and opportunistic female psychopaths are the rarest of rare species. They are better equipped than men to avoid detection. The truth is that we don't hear much about female psychopaths. They are rarely portrayed as fiction, and they are rarely studied in the scientific literature. But this does not mean that female psychopaths do not exist. This assumption is not completely wrong, as individuals who are actually psychopaths show masculine character traits in their diagnostic behavior, including the inaccurate portrait of psychopaths that appears in the public mind. But we should be aware that the proportion of female psychopaths is equal to that of men. Psychopathy is a character trait. It has nothing to do with gender. A psychopath is simply a psychopath. Like the male psychopath, female psychopaths have the ability to mimic the expected characteristics of their gender, that is, to appear feminine. We are not only talking about sexual attraction, but also about appearing empathetic, passive, soft, caring, nurturing, maternal, helpful. Given these conditions, we can say that female psychopaths are more difficult to identify than male psychopaths. So this is because female psychopaths don't have to look and behave in the same way that male psychopaths do, that is, masculine. Anyway, let's get back to the subject. Masculine traits in psychopathy have always favored men for advancement, especially in societies that carry the crumbs of patriarchal structure, and even more so in capitalist societies. Nevertheless, female psychopaths know that when they show such traits in a social environment, they will face ostracization rather than appreciation, unlike their male counterparts. Therefore, they prefer roles where they can show more feminine traits. Being a mother is one of these roles. This becomes a good option for them to camouflage themselves. It would not be wrong to assume that one of the reasons why female psychopaths are less visible is that if the victims of women are men, men have a hard time accepting the fact that they are victims, and they act timidly in order not to compromise their masculinity. We expect psychopaths to be tough, dominant, and aggressive, and we say that if a woman does not show these characteristics, she is not a psychopath. Where we are wrong is that the behavior of male and female psychopaths, like that of most other human beings, is shaped by the expectations of gender roles developed by society. This means that the same underlying personality structure will have different behavioral patterns and social expressions. We know that psychopathy is a personality disorder. Therefore, it is classified as a mental illness, and most of these types of illnesses occur differently in men than in women. Let's take an example from a different place. The symptoms that we usually associate with a heart attack: chest pain, tingling in the left arm, sweating, and these are the most common symptoms in men. Women, on the other hand, tend to experience different symptoms when they have a heart attack, such as shortness of breath and nausea. Although the internal web of control that we collectively direct to the conscience, i.e. the process of socialization, has not been successful in establishing itself in the minds of psychopaths, they are aware of the gender roles of society, i.e. what is expected of them as men or women. They use these expectations, more than most people, as powerful tools of manipulation. So a female psychopath can use all the benefits of being passive, warm, nurturing, and get what she wants from others as an independent gender role stereotype, just as a male psychopath can use his macho image to achieve intimidation and satisfy his aggressive desires. Research, albeit limited, shows that female psychopaths are manipulative and controlling, cunning, deceptive, do not take responsibility for their actions, are exploitative, and, of course, lack empathy. Until the 2000s, most research on psychopathy used male participants, assuming that the findings would transfer to women. This assumption was only partially correct. Male and female psychopaths show similarities in key traits such as lack of empathy and remorse. But the way psychopaths process information, make decisions, and behave differs between the sexes. Female psychopaths are generally less violent than men, but they can be just as remorseful and manipulative. Female psychopaths exhibit different and often less violent symptoms. As a result, female psychopaths are more likely to go undetected. Therefore, if you want to be able to identify a female psychopath, you need to know how female psychopaths may differ from men. Here are two main differences. First, differences in narcissism. All psychopaths have high levels of narcissism. There are psychopaths with the most extreme level of narcissism. This means that they see themselves as superior to those around them. But how this narcissism is expressed differs for men and women. Male narcissists shout their praise to themselves from the rooftops. They tend to brag about their achievements and their superiority on social media. They have no problem telling you to your face that they are better than you. Female psychopaths are different. They are more secretive about their narcissistic tendencies. She smiles in person and praises you instead of herself, but behind your back she actually thinks she is better than you. Secondly, differences in aggression. Male psychopaths tend to show their aggression behaviorally. They are prone to physical aggression and commit violent crimes. This helps explain why the percentage of psychopaths in male prisons is twice as high as in female prisons. Because male psychopaths engage in more violent behavior, they are more likely to be caught and incarcerated. Female psychopaths are better equipped to fly under the radar. This is because they tend to display their aggression relationally. They spread rumors about you at work. They manipulate you to the point where you doubt your sanity. They suck your soul and manipulate you into doing their bidding. If you refuse to continue a relationship with them, they threaten to harm themselves in response. They are master puppeteers, using everyone's weaknesses and pulling people's strings to get what they want. Ultimately, simply put, the difference comes down to this. Male psychopaths like to throw punches. Female psychopaths rule from the shadows. The first step is to identify them, which is harder than you think. Despite what the movies would have us believe, most psychopaths are not psychotic, raging killers. Instead, most are what psychologists call successful psychopaths. They are CEOs, doctors, lawyers, or beloved celebrities, all professions with a high percentage of psychopaths. What if you've identified a psychopath in your life? In reality, there's very little you can do to change a psychopath. Being a psychopath is not a choice, it is something that is embedded in people's brains. For example, when people look at sad images or immoral behavior, psychopaths, both men and women, show reduced activity in the amygdala, the part of our brain that controls and processes emotions, compared to non-psychopaths. This explains why psychopaths are not moved by the suffering of others. Their lack of empathy runs deep into their neural structures. In a sense, psychopathy is a disease of the emotional circuitry of the brain, especially the part that deals with interpersonal emotions. So if you can't convince the psychopath in your life to change, what can you do? Unfortunately, it often happens that the only way to beat a psychopath at his own game is to refuse to play. Don't get involved in their petty gossip. Don't take the bait when they push your buttons. Stand your ground and don't let them intimidate you.